Let's bring ourselves to today's session. I hope you can hear me, and I hope you also have paper and some colors with you just for our lovely journey. We take a moment to bring ourselves to the circle, become aware of our bodies, where we are in this moment, here and now. Though looking into a small box, very much present, I hope, with me. Imagining we are actually in a circle together, looking at each other's face, enjoying and connecting on this journey of a story which is going to take us from I am not enough to I am enough. That's the title of my workshop today. And it was decided last year. All of a sudden, that's what I wanted to do. And I waited for the story to choose me. And though it's a very ancient story, it's a very old story, and I've told it many times, I just thought that the story that has chosen me blends very beautifully into this journey of I'm not enough to I'm enough. I'm Sowmya Srinivasan, and I've been telling stories for a long time now. And every now and then I wonder uh, where the story is going to take me, what journey. And every time I'm surprised where I'm going. I surprise myself with this journey through stories. One person I must thank is, of course, Dr. Eric Miller. There's also David, whose work I follow quite a bit. And he's inspired me in so many ways. The way he does, and his presence, and his beautiful connections, and the way he's made me think about stories has lent to what I am now today. So let's begin. If you're all ready, can I see those yes and readiness? And are we all ready? Just take a look at each other. Yeah, we're getting fingers. Yes, right. Lovely, lovely, lovely. So let's begin with a small warm-up activity. I'm going to say a few words. All you have to do is pick up your paper and draw an image that comes to you when I say these words. You have to draw an image that comes to you when I say these words. So are we ready for the words? I'm going to say them like one after the other. You just pick up your paper, take your pencils, pens, keep them ready. This is like a race, like though I'm not the kind to participate in races, but still, just to give a kind of connection to you when you're all set for a competition or a race, you have your paper, everything ready, and then I'm going to tell you the names, and you have to draw out the images as they come in. Don't think too much. Don't kind of worry about what's coming. Just draw the images. So here goes. The first word of the day is scary. Scary. The second word is brave. Brave. The third word is jealousy. Jealousy. The fourth word is safe. Safe. Fifth word is explore. Explore.
నాకు అంటుకుందా
The sixth word is frightening. Frightening. Seventh word is equal. Equal. The eighth word is different. Different. The ninth word is not enough. not enough. And the last word is enough. Enough. Pencils down. Right? So I've given you a task to draw images of words given. Now tell me, how did you feel about this? I'm not sure, Eric, right? Okay, sorry, that was a reply to David, right? So what do you feel? What are you feeling right now? How did it feel to do this?
Actually, it started with the first words being fear, and brave. And I was taking time to think where the words went really fast.
Okay.
So I was entering the images and I wasn't able to. Yeah, so then I think the word not enough and enough played stronger at that point when uh, the words and the images began mixing.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, Poonam.
Yeah, for me, like when the words started coming, very strange images started coming. Whatever I drew, I don't know why I drew it. And I wanted a particular color, I couldn't find it. So whatever came in my hand, I did it. So I think it was that exercise where you don't have to apply yourself, just keep moving on. And yeah, I'm quite surprised with what all I have made.
Right. Can you hear? Yeah, Priyanka.
Hi,
Can you
good
hear
evening.
me? Is it okay? I'm
Yes.
audible?
We
Yes.
can hear you, but it looks like the light was just turned off and now it
Yeah.
came on again.
Murphy's law always works. Yes,
Am I
please.
But you need to increase your volume a little.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, Priyanka.
okay? Am I audible?
Yes.
For me, it was a journey, and I felt the emotions that you gave us. So
Hmm.
while I was drawing, I was kind of feeling the emotion that you were giving.
Hmm.
And somehow, planned or unplanned, I reached from the jealousy and the fright to being equal and not enough, and finally enough.
Okay.
So it was a beautiful journey. Thank
Oh,
you.
okay. Okay, that's nice. Nice, very nice. Yeah, Mamjam.
Okay, three things. One thing is certain words I didn't know what to draw, so nothing was coming immediately. And for certain words, there were people who were coming into my mind. You know, when you said safe, frightened, or jealousy, there was people who were coming. And surprisingly, not enough and enough, I got the same image. So I was actually confused. Is it enough or not enough for me?
Wow, that's amazing. Anybody else wants to say something quickly? Yes, David.
I found my behavior modified as you went along because of the pace. I
Ah.
found that the pictures became simpler
Uh-huh.
and more like symbols. So
Okay.
like stick figures or expressions or shapes.
Okay, that's very interesting, isn't it? Oh, wow. So my tone, my voice, what I said, how I said it also played a role in how you saw those images, how you saw those pictures playing out on the paper. That's one part of it. How many of you heard voices in your head telling you, come on, what are you asking me to do? I mean, what's this? Why? I mean, you're going too fast, or come, I'm not going to do this. How many of you heard voices parallelly in your head? Yes, Moira. Yeah.
Not
Yes.
that I didn't want to do it, but I thought that you were saying too fast. My brain was still too slow.
Right. There you go. There you go. So your brain was telling you something. As I was doing it, it was telling you that I'm too slow for this. I'm too slow for this. I'm too slow for this. Maybe that was going on in your mind. Right. Right. Anybody else had a voice inside which was talking parallelly to what was? Yes, Moira.
Yeah, it was just too fast for me. I
Yeah.
love drawing, but I need my time. So, and when had written down one word, the next one. So
Yeah.
I gave up. But the funny thing is, a story came to my mind, which I love very much. And I thought, okay, some of the words fit in there, and suddenly
Wow.
Well, sort of all of the words, if looking from certain angles at the figures, at the scenery, sort of it made a lot of sense, and it made the story come alive in my mind with images, maybe in a different way than it was before. So I'm sorry I didn't fulfill
No,
the
that's okay.
task, but
What was the tone of that story? Was it a tragedy? Was it was it a comical story? What kind of story was coming?
It's how to put it short. It's a story from Middle Eastern traditions, and I embed it in a personal story. So I can find all of it, and it makes it sort of these very human traits like brave and jealousy and so on. It's sort of it's like the screen broadened and I could see it from different angles. So maybe I didn't quite fail what you asked us to do, but it's
Yeah,
it's
yeah. We are lucky to be storytellers that the mind immediately puts all this together, and then there's this
yeah.
parallel
Anyway, I'm
story.
grateful for this strange experience.
Yes, Barry.
I was going to say I had the same experience as David. I just had to simplify and kind of hold on for dear life, and I think I'm at a disadvantage because I'm on 6 a.m. time here, so just woke up and
Oh, sorry.
Good
so there
morning.
was a bit of tension involved.
Right, absolutely, absolutely. The tension. I didn't ask for this tension kind of feeling. I didn't ask for this. I woke up and I don't need this. I don't deserve this, kind of feeling also, right? So just let's shake that off. And I'm not going to debrief that because I'm going to ask you to stay with that discomfort, because that's exactly what we are doing every time we are putting ourselves in a place where we are expected to do something and then we are not able to do it. And then there's this voice which is telling us so many things in the background, including, you cannot do this. It's just not possible for you to do it, right? So that's the whole point of this. That at the end of it, when for whatever reasons we tend to go into that little cave of ours and start thinking that because of this random activity which was given, I'm not enough. Now, where do we go with that? So we start with an I'm not enough, but going down the road, I'm not enough is not going to take us very far. Whereas the opposite, I'm enough, will take us far, because there's a saying, isn't it? I'm sure all of you would have heard of this. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Have you heard of this? Yeah. So I believe that this whole journey of I am not enough is a very lonely journey, because we tend to put ourselves in that little cave and say, I'm not enough, and we are alone in that journey. But let's put ourselves out into a space like this, for example, and allow ourselves to be seen in all our vulnerabilities. And then can we look at ourselves and say, well, we all have moments when we feel I'm not enough, but that doesn't make me not enough. I am enough. How do I get there? How do I get there? So the story that called out to me for this is it's a story that I've told very, very often in different ways. But interestingly, when I started preparing for this workshop, the story just morphed into something else. So let's go and listen to what happened to this young person. Now, in the intention of the story, I just want to give a little kind of, set the stage for our story to enter. I wanted to do this story for young people. So the story is having a young person as the protagonist, but you can put yourself in this role. You're welcome to do that. Of course, it will become your story and the way you want to see it. Once upon a time, not very long ago, there was a young person who went by the name Mohin. Now Mohin, was happy, a very happy person until they were put to school. They were sent to school. Then all their troubles started. The trouble started because Mohin had such multiple interests. At one side, they loved to play football, while on the other side, they also loved to dance, put their anklets and dance. Well, they also like to play with the kitchen set and sometimes like to dress up in a sari and play mother. Well, their mother, when they watched Mohin wear a sari and play with the kitchen set, they were not happy about it. It made her very sad. This is not done. Mohin, you were born one way and we cannot see you this way. For which Mohin had a reply. You just add one letter to my name and I become Mohini, and the possibilities of that increases multifold. Why don't we both Mohin and Mohini? Of course, the father could not accept this. What nonsense are you speaking? We have to correct this behavior. Let us send Mohin to his grandmother's house in the village. And it will be good for Mohin to stay with his grandmother. See, the father wanted to emphasize the gender and sent Mohin to his mother in the village. The old woman was not only wise, she was way more knowledgeable about life in general. And though her own son was conditioned in so many ridiculous ways, she accepted Mohin in her own gentle and very inclusive way and basically allowed Mohin to be free. She didn't trouble him too much in the village. And Mohin was delighted to be left on his own until Mohin realized there was something very wrong in the village. People were suddenly disappearing. All of a sudden, somebody would be talking in the midst of the conversation would just disappear. Mohin noticed that whenever somebody was saying the sentence, I am not enough. I am not enough. Can you tell me what are those not enoughs that we have in our life? I am not good enough. I am not strong enough. Strong enough. I am not
Bold
Patient
enough.
enough.
I'm sorry.
Funny, smart.
Funny enough.
Patient.
Bold.
Patient enough.
Smart enough.
Smart enough.
Beautiful.
Tolerant enough. Oh, that would be good. That was a good one.
Talented.
Talented enough. So whenever people have this sentence in their when they were speaking, suddenly they would just disappear. Mohin was troubled. He went to his grandmother and asked, Ajji, what's happening? Ajji is a local word which we say for grandmother. What's happening? Why is everybody disappearing? What's the secret behind this? For which Ajji smiled at him and said, there is one Bulikasura. There is a Ra Bulikeshwari. Comes in male form or female form. And especially, they appear suddenly when somebody is feeling this not enough. And they put their hand on your head. And the moment that Bulikasura comes and puts his hand on your head, you will disappear. There are rumors that sometimes you can even be turned into little worms and microscopic animals. And once you become that, you have to start evolution all over again. What? Really? Oh, this was something very new for Mohin to hear. Achi, you mean all those people who have disappeared become worms or microscopic animals and then they have to again evolve and become humans again? Yes, that's what we've heard. That's what we heard. But there's nobody who is willing to take courage to face this Bulikasura. He's there. He lives on that mountaintop inside a cave, and all we have to do is go there and confront him and stop him. Gee, is there a way to stop him? Tell me, how can we do this? And so it happened that Aji had a way. The whole night, she and Mohin discussed strategies. How to defeat this Bulikasura. When, after a long night's discussion, the next morning, Mohin went with a brave face to the village headman. Great, humility, said, "Sir, I am going to defeat the Bulikasura. I am going to the mountaintop and I'm going to go there and I'm going to defeat the Bulikasura. I need a little help from you." Now the village headman looked at Mohin up and down, and with a sneer on his face, he said, "You, little fellow, you can go. You are confused between who you are, a boy or a girl, Mohin or Mohini. You are supposed to go to defeat this Bulikasura. Let it go. Never mind." Well, I told you, our Mohin was very ready and prepared. He had discussed exactly this with his grandmother, his Aji, and he knew he was expecting this kind of treatment. So he said with a very kind voice, if I may use that word, "Sir, I understand. You can confused whether I'm a boy or a girl, whether I'm Mohin or Mohini. But why don't you think of it this way? Maybe if I go on this journey, I will be very clear who I want to be. This is the way you can help me become clearer about who I am. But I also need your little help. If you can tell me, if you can help me, then I will go on this journey to find out who I am." The village headman was mollified with the way this young boy was talking with so much confidence. In his mind, this was a boy, but we know who he is. Mohin. He didn't care for these he and she. He knew he was they. So he said, "I need 2 pairs of anklets that I can take with me to the Bulikasura." 2 pairs of anklets? All right, said the village headman, and called for the silversmith and asked him to give Mohin the 2 pairs of anklets. So Mohin wore the 2 pairs of anklets and wore 1 pair of anklets, put 1 pair in his bag, and set off towards the mountain. And on the way, he met a lot of people who had a lot of things to tell him. What do you think? What are the words he met on the way? What do you think people told him when they saw this person walking?
Maybe you don't know where you're going.
You don't know where you're going. Don't be foolish. Who do you think you are?
Why do you have anklets?
Where you wear? Why do you wear anklets? And what's this? You have a sari in your hand. I forgot to mention that. We have a sari also. He's taken sari also. What is this? What are you doing? Who are you? What are you? Questions were coming.
What gender are you?
What gender are you? And you cannot do this. Don't be silly. Don't be foolish. It's impossible. What's your age? You're not old enough. You're not capable enough. Well, our Mohan had his strategy. He had his old strategizing grandmother's voice in his mind, in his head. So he said, okay. And he went towards the mountain. And he reached the top. He had a little for himself. He had his own, he had his little cheerleader in himself, which was telling him, Mohan the brave person climbed the mountain, step by step, all the way up. He was his own cheerleader. He went up, and then when he reached the top of the mountain and saw the cave, that's when it hit him like a boulder. He froze. And all those words that he had heard came rushing back. Am I good enough? Am I capable? Can I do this? What's happening? My God, what do I think of myself? How can I do this? What made me do this? I want to run away from here. I can't do this. He froze, and his fear made his hands sweat. His head was pounding, and his back was hurting, his neck was hurting. He just couldn't breathe. Until the voice of his grandmother came back to him. Mohan, you are perfect as you are. And that made him release his breath. It felt like his body was just bringing out all those words that he had heard. And once he released his breath and he moved his body, he realized that his body loved to move. And when he moved, he felt like himself. Of course, his feet had his little anklets. And the moment he started moving and he had taken the breath, the little ching, ching, ching of his anklets brought him back to the moment. And he felt so happy to just be in his body, to breathe, to have the anklets. And he knew that dance was his thing. And just by moving, he was himself again. And it was just enough the way he was. And that made him brave enough to say, Bulikasura, come out of the cave. Show me your face. I want to talk to you. Well, you know where this goes. Bulikasura had never ever been approached like this by anybody, and he had always taken people by surprise, popping up when they didn't want him, and tapping on their heads to make them into bhasma, into ash. Here he was, being called by somebody. So he appeared. He appeared in front of Mohan, who stood there and looked at Bulikasura. Well, this is where, before I describe my Bulikasura, you are going to draw your Bulikasura. How does Bulikasura look for you? Who is this bully? And this bully who's inside you, this inner bully, this bully who is inside you, how do they look? What gender are they? What is the tone of voice they use? What words is the most predominant word that stays with you, with this bully? What words do they use? What clothing are they wearing? What face expression do they have? How do they appear in front of you? It could not even be something imaginary. It could be something that's already existing. How do they look, this Bulikasura? What gender? That's also. So let's draw our Bulikasura. You can name it your own name. Give it your own name. Don't have to call it Bulikasura. Or Ra Bulikeshwari. That's a Rakshasi with a bully in between. It need not be Bulikasura or a Rakshasi. How do they look? How does this inner bully look? What is he saying? What is the word that they use which just hits you every time? If you're done, then just let's look at my bully. Mohin's bully, sorry. Mohin looked at this Bulikasura who had stepped out of the cave, and he couldn't stop giggling. So funny. They had 2 horns, 2 big ears, hair, scraggly hair, and a mouth which was the foulest mouth on the earth. That was Mohin's Bulikasura, who stood in front of them. Mohin shook his head and said, Bulikasura, I've come a long way. I've come to talk to you. You really have to give me answers. I'm fed up of having you appear suddenly and turn so many people into ash. And I don't want to be turned into ash at all. Not a worm, nor a microscopic creature. So tell me, Bulikasura, tell me, why do you do this? What's the purpose of your job? Why do you come with your vile words and your painful accusations at me when I don't need it? When I'm poised at that moment to do something good, and your voice comes in. Why do you do this? What's your job description? Said Mohin. Bulikasura went into a long job description. I would like you to share with us what you think Bulikasura would have said. Why does he do this? What's the purpose of Bulikasura being so mean and so cruel, coming up when we don't need them and putting these words in our mind? Why? Who knows? What's the purpose? What's the job? What does it do for
I
me?
like doing it. And you allow me to do so. That's why I do it.
Really? I allow you?
Yes.
What does it give you? What does it do for you?
It
Troubling
scares me
like this.
and then I freeze. I just freeze after that. And I'm unable to think.
Yeah, Barry, I will come to that, right? We'll come to that, sure. Anybody else? Yeah. You like to freeze me? That's your purpose?
I'm trying to protect you.
Ah. Trying to protect me. How?
See, you don't know now what it is outside. So I stop you from doing things. And for you to become better. I'm your caretaker.
You're my caretaker? But being my caretaker, you're not making me feel good. I thought caretakers should use more gentle words. Why are you so mean to me?
Because
Yes,
that's how
Dave Jani.
you learned when you were young. That is the best way to teach.
How? Yeah, Dave Jani.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, actually, you don't know. You become over ambitious and you tend to overstep. So I try to protect you by reminding you your limitations.
Yeah, Berry, please go ahead.
Well, and I also need to protect all of you from each other, because you and the others, if you get too big, you'll start to fuss with each other and think that you're better than each other. So I have to keep you all down a little bit.
Oh my. Oh my. Oh, that's too much for me to take. I think I need to negotiate with you, Bulikasura. I really don't appreciate that you come suddenly upon me and take me by surprise. Can we have a deal? Yes, Sudha. Sudha, you're on mute.
It gives me a sense of power. I
Okay.
feel, and somebody did this to me when I was young.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I want to see how it feels.
Yeah.
And then I love the way when you want to just disappear. I love it. I love the effect I have on you.
Yeah. I don't love it. So perhaps we can take a few moments to write down this conversation between Bulikasura and yourself. What Bulikasura says. What are your replies to him? The conversation between the bully, the inner bully, and the question being asked is, why are you doing this? What is your job? What do you want to do by talking like this to me? Alright. So the conversation between Bulikasura and Mohin continued as Mohin tried to get to understand the purpose of this bully, this inner bully. Once they'd finished talking, Mohin decided enough is enough. Do you need some more time, people? Can I continue? Yeah. So Mohin had decided that enough is enough. You know, you have been with me from that first time. You have been troubling me particularly, of course, but all these people, everybody has this first time somebody said something that stayed with us, and that became the first time you came into my life. That was way back when I wanted to do something and somebody said, It's not possible by you. That's when you entered. And I was such a small child at that time. I feel that I'm so old and you're still doing this Bulikasura. You know how old that makes you? Of course, older than me, much older. So we need to have come to a deal, said Mohin to Bulikasura. I don't want you to come suddenly upon me. So I want you to wear this and I want you to inform me when you are going to appear in my life.
Yes, madam.
Give me a hint. And then I'll be ready to face you. You are ready to retire from my life, and I'm ready to move on with my life without you in my head, said Bulikasura. And so he invited this Bulikasura, who turned everybody to ashes or worms or these tiny little creatures with one touch of his head, to dance with him, for that's what he loved to do. And he took that anklet, gave it to Bulikasura and said, you will wear this so that whenever you come, I will know you're coming near me. And I can also do what I love to do. I love to dance. I will do what I love to do so that I will face you with this strength of mine, with my dancing. And he invited Bulikasura to dance with him, and the two of them danced a beautiful dance. Jai Mohini, Jai Mohini, Jai Mohini, Jai Jai. Jai Mohini, Jai Mohini, Jai Mohini, Jai Jai. I am enough, I am enough, I am enough, I am enough, I am enough. Jai Mohini, Jai Mohini, Jai Mohini, Jai Jai. Bulikasura, every time you come into my world, into where I am, I'm going to sing this song of I am enough. And the moment Bulikasura was invited into the dance, the two of them danced a beautiful dance. Bulikasura voluntarily put his hand on his own head and poof, disappeared from Mohin's life. Mohin carried his anklets as a reminder of what he had with him and ran back down the hill, back to his village, and showed them the joy and beauty of his dance and sang his I am enough song and told them, I've defeated that Bulikasura. He is not going to come, and even if he does, I'm going to sing my I am enough song. I have my anklets with me, and you're also welcome to dance with me. He put his anklets, and the whole village erupted in a beautiful dance of togetherness as each one looked at each other and said, I'm also ready to defeat my Bulikasura. And they danced the whole night happily together. So, yeah, let's dance together. Let's dance together. Yes. And dance of I am enough, I am enough, I am enough. Jai Mohini, Jai Mohini, Jai Mohini, Jai Jai. Jai Mohini, Jai Mohini, Jai Mohini, Jai Jai. I don't really care what anybody says, who's looking. I am myself, I am me, I'm enough, I'm enough, I'm enough. So let's now maybe I'd invite you to make up your own little song, a poem on I'm enough. I give you some time to just simply, maybe just 2 lines, not more than that, if that's how many words you can put together, and come up with your own song. What's that song that you want to tell yourself? Be your own cheerleader. that will help pick you up every time you feel you're not enough and make you feel, yeah, I'm enough. I invite you to write your little poem or a song. If you have a tune in mind, you can write your lines, verse to fit that tune, or you can just write a couple of lines on I am enough. The song that Mohin sings is, they never give up, they kept on trying till Bulikasura was tricked into dying. They never give up, they kept on trying till Bulikasura was tricked into dying. Jai Mohini, Jai Mohini, Jai Mohini, Jai Jai. Jai Mohini, Jai Mohini, Jai Mohini, Jai Jai. This is Mohin's song that he sings. We have to trick our Bulikasura. Once you've finished, you can the floor is open. Please share what you're feeling, thinking. You can share your images, the name you've given to your bully, the poem. Your thoughts. Yes, please, David.
Will I share my song?
Yes.
Sufficiency, I can be me, enough to make it through. Sufficiency, you can be you, enough to make it through.
Sing it to us line by line and we'll repeat it after you.
Yeah, lovely. Sufficiency, I can be me.
Sufficiency, I can be me.
Enough to make it through.
Enough to make it through.
Sufficiency, you can be you.
Sufficiency, you can be you.
Enough to make it through.
Enough to make it through. Yeah. Yeah.
And can I show you my Buddha Kasserai? I
Yes.
never show anybody the pictures that I draw, but I'm kind of a little bit fond of my Bully Kasura.
Oh, wait, I'm going to spotlight you. 1 minute, 1 minute. Oh, okay. Well, that's really mean mouth. Yes. You see that? Yes. Thank you so much, David. And lovely poems coming up. I'm enough. Yes, I am. You're enough. Lavanya sent. Yes, I am. You're enough. Yes, you are. I'm enough. I'm enough. Also, think of the tune that you want to put in. You can readjust the words to the tune as it goes. June, yes, please.
I just got a little song.
Yes,
if you want to do it, yes, you can. If you want to do it, yes, you can. You are all that you need. You can just be. If you want to do it, yes, you can.
Wonderful. If you want to do it, yes, you can. If you want to do it, yes, you can. We are like really little children, but we forget these songs. That's the whole point of this thing, right? I think in the day-to-day, whatever, we do so much of adulting, we don't realize the beauty of having these small, precious things from our child, the things that we did as a child, these songs or whatever that we had, we forget to use it again when we grow up. We don't actually grow out of these things at all. Yes, anybody else? Yeah, I'm not June. Then I'm not, 2 participants hands raised. I'm not able to see who's the other one. Please
I have
unmute
my
and
hand up.
speak.
Oh.
Yes, Berry. Yeah.
Or was someone else going to go, Sowmya?
No. I think
Okay.
June is done.
Well, I will show, this was my little picture.
Yeah. Just a minute. Let me just.
Lots of question marks.
Oh, doesn't have an eyes. It doesn't have eyes at all. Just question marks
No.
all over.
Yes, and a very large head and a very small body.
Any
And
name for it?
No,
No.
Bulikasur is fine. And my song goes like this. It has maybe a little twist to it. I can do it, or I can find out how, or I'll find fellow travelers who can help me out.
Oh, it's lovely. Beautiful. And the beauty of having those fellow travelers, even if it's, I should say, even one is enough. And like Mohin had his old grandmother. The reason why I made it the grandmother, it's part of the story, of course, the original story. But more and more realizing that the archetype of the old woman is having such a bad, it's not been given the due respect. So just want her to be the person who champions, we champions our little Mohin. So that's one reason. Enough is enough. I'm saying now, I'm in love and know that I'm enough. Yeah. Katha Caravan. I'm enough. Okay. Vejani, yes, please go ahead.
I looked without for some motivation. I kept struggling for all your cooperation until I realized I'm good enough to be my own inspiration.
Wow. Lovely. Yeah. We have to be our own cheerleaders. Definitely, that's the first cheerleader we need in our vicinity, ourselves. We fail to cheer ourselves so often. Yes, David, I also think I've never met anyone who can do it without a fellow traveler. Absolutely true. And to tell you, so Bulikasura and Ra Bulikeshwari, like the male and female versions of Rakshasa and Rakshasi. Rakshasa and Rakshasi are the terms we use for demons and demoness. Demon and demoness. Rakshasa is a demon and Rakshasi is a demoness. So Bulikasura. Asura is also a word we use for demon, a male form. Asura, we say. So that's why for me, I think Poonam wanted to say something.
Wanted
So
to sing my song.
Yes, please.
Bulikasura means bully, like the English word bully, demon. Okay.
Yes.
All right, so I will sing my song. The sun shines behind the clouds. The sun shines behind the clouds. The tiny bird flies to greater heights. So can I, so can I, so can I. I know I am enough. I know I am enough. I know I am enough. I know I am enough.
Thank you. So just going to share my image of anybody, please feel free to share your images. I'm just going to share this 1 minute. Can you see my yeah, can you see? Just a minute. Where is the slideshow? Okay. Yeah. So that was mine that I drew.
I like the hands. One thumb up and one finger pointing down.
Yes. Initially, I have not drawn the hands or legs. It was without hands and legs, but I've added it later, and I don't know why. I'm still trying to figure out why my thing should have hands and legs. Let's see, I don't know. But it's interesting that the shape it takes on as we kind of keep thinking, keep imagining. Maybe this is called externalizing in expressive arts. It's called externalizing your internal worlds. That's also why I put it in the workshop heading. So when we externalize something which is very abstract and give it more and more concrete, what do you call, give it more concreteness in space, it helps to distance yourself from it and kind of just take a look at it and say, come on, I can handle this better. So that's what we're doing. We've externalized the inner demon, the inner bully, the critic. And so you can keep adding to it. You can keep changing it. Maybe every year you can start by drawing your inner bully and seeing how it has changed over the years. Maybe one day it'll disappear and you say, I don't have one at all in my life anymore. That's another way of going on this journey with inner bully. Instead of denying it exists, instead of saying that, oh, it's there somewhere and I should not face it, the whole point is to bring it out, externalize it. And this story of Mohini, the actual version of the story is Mohini and Bhasmasura. That was the story that I tell children usually. And I never imagined that it would lend into the story. And it was beautiful, I felt, for myself. And I felt very good doing this, taking Mohin on his journey. And this is the song that I wrote. I've written it just today in response, in a similar manner, completely impromptu, like I asked you to write. I've written it the same way. It just came. And that's yeah. So that's the whole point of stories. They lend, you're all storytellers, I don't have to tell you, but I feel the beauty of the mind and using that to work with our fears is so beautiful. And I just love stories for that. Yes, David, then Ambuja, then Veena.
I just wanted to ask, that story that you just quoted, is that an established and well-known folk tale from India? Is there a link that you could put in the chat that I could look into just to see how you've taken it from that folk tale and adapted it?
Sure, I'll do. I'm not sure. I took it from a book. It's a book which is from a CBT, Children's Book Trust book, which was called Mohini and Bhasmasura. But the original tale is a myth from the mythology. It is about Vishnu taking an avatar and becoming Mohini and defeating somebody called as the Bhasmasura. The book, CBT book, was an adaptation of that story, which I have further adapted. Right.
So Mohini is a character in Hindu mythology.
Yes, Mohini
Fantastic.
is an avatar, is a female form of Vishnu.
Thank you very much. I love what you did with the story. It just really, really worked for me. And funnily enough, a couple of days ago, I got a message from my friend Sika in Kathmandu, who some of you might know, and Sika asked me about stories for teenagers, about bullying, about self-esteem, and I was giving her a couple. I just thought, oh, this is such a great story and approach to do with teenagers in the classroom. So if this is going to be recorded, I'll definitely share it with Sika. Is this going to be shared, the recording?
Yeah, I think so. Yes, it will be shared. Yes,
fantastic.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. Ambuja.
Okay, I raised my hand then when the songs were being shared. So
okay, please go ahead. Please go ahead. Yes, of course.
Okay, and this is my song. Love, 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 I love me every day. Come what may, what do you say? I am enough, you are enough. We are a team and we are enough. Love, 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 I love me every day, come what may. What do you say?
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes. Yes, Veena.
Thanks, such beautiful workshop and such lovely singing, and well, the drawings too are lovely. Now,
Well, we have
now the
few
fear,
storytellers.
now the fear, and whether it's the bully who's bullying me that you are not enough.
Not after the workshop. You can't say that.
So that is my Raki bully.
Uh-huh.
Who brings out all the negative words and the arrogance and dismissive words and roaring eyes and things like that, and is always bullying. You can't do it enough. You're not enough. You're not enough. Maybe somebody's better than you, and
Suddenly you're off. Yeah.
there's no tune as such, but I will try. The world is a large space, and I am a little me, yet I am enough for me. Ponder and grow, and bullies do throw. Turn them out. Love yourself, for I am enough for to be me.
Thank you so much. Well, that's amazing. And one more point I wanted to bring to your notice, that when Mohin arrives at the top of the mountain, he freezes. He is, he wants to run away and he is under stress. These are also the responses that we have when we are faced with any form of, anxiety, when we are in anxious. So describing it in the story brings a sense of you can relate to it rather than talking about it separately, like, oh, this is the response you have, kind of thing. And of course you can go deeper into how you can even stop there and kind of make people describe how they feel, how the Mohin would have felt at that point. So that's also a possibility of looking at the story there, to capture how one feels when we are faced with this. So there are a lot of points you can intervene. I mean, you can just stop and kind of throw it open for the students, especially teenagers. And you can change the protagonist as you feel like. And I purposely brought them into the story because I want to be more gender inclusive, and I realized that when we start talking more with more gender inclusive language, it will become norm rather than an exclusive way of looking at and as storytellers we should also be telling such stories. Yes. All right, so
Can I ask another question?
yes, please.
Sorry, I don't want to hog the floor. Sowmya, I'm full of admiration because I know that you work a lot with storytelling in a therapeutic sense, and that's something much more than I have done, I think. And I want to ask about applying this with young people, children who are experiencing or have experienced profound trauma, and what suggestions and what things to be mindful of.
A very beautiful question. The first thing is to be mindful of how we are offering it, and I think it's especially children who are in a space of where they are experienced trauma. They have to be ready to receive the story. We'll have to make them ready for the story. That is one thing. And I have seen that children, more than words, they relate to images. So keep it as the image level. So even if you're working, have even this story itself, offer it with less words, and more way of in which they can come up with what they feel they want in the story. So make it, it takes the focus away from us as the teller. So less words, more images. That's one thing that works very well, David, especially when children experience trauma. And
So elements like when you talk about images, the images coming more from you, the storyteller, or coming from them,
from them. Yes.
And also when you talked, and I love that, with this process, we included song and rhythm and dance and poetry. So bringing in lots of creative art.
Yes. Yes.
Creative expression.
Yes. 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 Absolutely. Yes. So I feel.
And of course, valuing every contribution, just as you have done.
Yeah. So I feel that when children are in when they've experienced trauma, words overwhelm. So make that less. The story is presented in a more maybe the body is used more, and that also is something that I realized with make the cut down the words but bring in more body helps with children with trauma also. So I would pause at every place and not describe everything, because I have, it should not be a need for me to kind of pour out the words, but just to pause and have them come up and come up with how it appears to them, so that it is, we can also see their world in the story. I don't know if that's helpful, but
that's really helpful. That's simple advice. So if other people have comments, I'd be interested as well. But that's great.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah. Yes, Barry.
And I don't want to take too much space in the room, but what David said brings to my mind a thought that is, wondering, is there a danger sometimes in providing a message of saying you are enough, when certainly for children in the type of situation David was talking about, but I know I deal with students who come from very challenged backgrounds.
Yeah.
And that maybe to say, oh, you are enough, it's all fine,
Yes.
might make them think, well, if I'm supposed to be enough and I'm not enough. I think of this sometimes when I, in telling, for example, the story of the tortoise hare, where we say, slow and steady wins the race is the moral I've always heard. And I thought, what do I do when I tell that to students who can look at their parents and say, well, my parents are working 3 jobs and they're not winning any race, and they're going as slow and steady as they can and doing, and they're getting sick and not having enough sleep and so on. So I just wonder, how do we, does that present an issue or a challenge or a danger?
Absolutely. In fact, as we were talking, I wanted to bring to our awareness that this cannot be done as a standalone, or you just throw this workshop on a group of children. You cannot do this. We'll have to prepare them through smaller, gentler ways, maybe smaller stories, smaller ways in which we can enter into the story world, build on it, and then come to the stage of I am enough. Definitely it cannot be done. You cannot throw this on children or teenagers, especially people who are children or young adults who are going through severe crisis. We cannot just do something like this, and it becomes like a band-aid. No, we're not looking at a band-aid here. So we need to slowly work on different kinds. Maybe a series can be planned, and then we reach a point of I am enough kind of that comes at the end of it. That's it. Thanks a lot for these questions, David and Barry. I think it really brings so much of meaning into what we do as storytellers. It's not, and we can look at stories as having so much of to really touching the core of what children need, what all of us need. Yes, Shukrita.
Hi, Soumya. First of
Hi.
all, thank you for this wonderful workshop. And, I just wanted to sort of continue with this discussion that Barry and you are having to say that, like you said, it cannot be done in isolation. I completely agree, because there's one thing that we need to do is think of, the parents, who's immediately in the child's life, who can also support this. So if we have a supporting, like a system which can help the parents as well, where because if they are also going to be the people who are going to be feeding or sort of this negativity, which the child may innately be sort of harboring, then it can't help. So I think that would also help to look at it in a broader sense, maybe, as a family, think of the parents, and maybe they need to be, in fact, good parenting is, I think, the basis of having more sort of, in some sense, normalized children.
Yeah, I always say that adults need it more than children. So we need to unlearn so much more than mostly it's a series of unlearning for us, and then we can enter and try to work with children. Thank you, Barry, for that suggestion. I Am Enough by Grace Byers. Okay, that's nice. Picture books are my favorite to go to, but I'm finding that even when stories are orally told, they can make a difference, and we can work with mental health using stories this way. So it's just one way. I mean, we can explore so many ways in which we can work with a story, and at the end of the day, we need to be mindful of the intention we hold for the group, and depending on the age, depending on their life experiences, we need to offer the story that would most suit that group of children or group of adults or young adults. This story, I felt, works well with young adults. I've not used it as yet for young adults. I've used a couple of other stories, but after this workshop, I'm quite keen to use it and see how I can. Yes, Geetanjali.
Soumya, I felt there were like enough space for intervention, and like when you do this dialogue between the bully and I think this is one of the places where you create a space for to look at what is the thing that is stopping you, and the way you kind of created a role play while we said that I'm the bully. So it's a good like I have also done workshops where I speak about journal writing exercises, and the devil and I is one of the foremost thought. Children really enjoy the idea that they are talking to the devil at this point of time. So I think that's one layer. The second layer that he did was on negotiating, wherein you're not actually talking about black or white, don't do it all or do it all. You're trying to find the middle ground. So I think, and then the third artwork that you made us do about drawing the bully, I noticed that each one of us had this big head. Even I did a big head and a small body. So, the big head is something that is a sense of control, like the head is controlling and the body is yet shut. So children do that as well, because for them also, what is that is really controlling them, the head, and it kind of breaks and dissolves and then, disappears. So I personally felt that the layers of exercises that you did, in reality, it is in itself is unfolding. And it is going to create safe space for sharing, like the way you put things together.
Yeah. But one thing I always feel is we should not have too big agendas, especially with a story. We trust the story to do its work, and we know we're going to, when we give the story in a way where we have thought it through, or we know our story well and we have thought it through. We trust the story and not have too much of an agenda when we go. We have all these intervention points, but intervention means the points where we sit and relax. I mean, reflect. But the thing is not to go with too big agendas. I think that's unfair to the story.
We honor the journey.
Yeah.
And respect whatever comes out.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, exactly. All right, so let's all say, unmute ourselves and together let's just say I'm enough. I know it sounds very what is this, but let's just do it. I think just to make ourselves feel better. Ready? 1, 2, 3, start. I
am enough.
Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for your beautiful questions.
Bye-bye.
And your presence.
Thank you,
Sowmya.
Thank you. Wonderful space, Sowmya. Well crafted.
Thank you.
Glad to be here.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Sowmya. That was wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you.